Good day, grade 9 students. It's a brand new day filled with fun learning experiences. I am your teacher Rose and welcome to the world of grade 9 English. Get your pen, paper, and self-learning modules, and together we will love and learn English right at the comfort of your home. So brace yourself and let's get the ball rolling.
Welcome to English 9 on modal verbs. To commence our lesson for today, let me present to you our lesson objectives. At the end of this module, you should be able to differentiate sentences that express permission, obligation, and prohibition. Identify models of permission, obligation, and prohibition in sentences. And use models of permission, obligation, and prohibition appropriately in sentences. Let us do this activity entitled, What are they? I want you to take a look at these two sentences. Sheila didn't attend the party last night. Number 2, Sheila cannot attend the party tonight. What have you noticed in sentences 1 and 2? Do they have the same meaning? If not, what is their difference? What is your idea? Correct. Sentence 1 states a fact that Sheila did not attend the party last night. How about number 2? You're a fast learner. Sentence 2 expresses prohibition that Sheila cannot attend the party tonight. So what word was used to state that Sheila is not permitted to attend the party? Very good. The word cannot. And how do we call this word? How do we call this word that denote a feeling in the sentence? Very good. This word is called modal. So what are modals? Modals are helping verbs that denote intention or feeling of the speaker. They indicate likelihood, permission, ability, possibility, suggestions, prohibition, advice, order, or request. It is always accompanied with the verb in its base form. So always remember this formula. Modal plus verb in its base form. What is the base form of the verb? The base form of the verb is its roots. It is the version of the verb without any endings, meanings without s, without ing or ed. Take a look at this example. Can plus eat. So can is the modal and it is the base form of the verb. Let us know the types of modals by doing this activity entitled, What do you think? So let me read to you the 3 sentences. 1 must always pay attention to his or her surroundings. 2. May I go to my friend's party and stay overnight? And 3. Many students cannot go to school as soon as they like. So all you have to do is to identify which among the sentences expresses permission or consent to do a certain task, and which among the sentences shows duties and responsibilities that someone is obliged to do. Lastly, which among the sentences prohibits you to do something? Let's take a look at sentence 1. 1 must always pay attention to his or her surroundings. What do you think is the answer? Is it asking permission? Does it prohibit you to do something? Or stating your duties and responsibilities that you're obliged to do? Very good. It shows an obligation. Obligation that one must always pay attention to his or her surroundings. How about sentence 2? You are a fast learner. It is a sentence that expresses permission. Asking permission to go to your friend's party and stay overnight. How about sentence 3? Very good. It is a sentence that shows prohibition, that many students cannot go to school as soon as they like. This is very timely nowadays, since we are facing a pandemic and we cannot go to school as soon as we like.
There are numerous types of modals, but we will just be dealing with its three main types. We have the modals of permission, modals of obligation, and modals of prohibition. Modals of permission. Permission is a consent or agreement given to a request. It is usually expressed by using modals of permission such as can, could, or may, plus the base form of the verb. These modals will help you win someone's consent to do something. Remember, modal is always accompanied with the base form of the verb.
Here are the modals of permission. We have the modal can. Can is the least formal of the modal verbs used to ask or give permission. Here are some examples with can. Can I play music? Can I wear shorts? So always remember that can is used in situations wherein the context of the sentence is not formal, such as permission to play music and wear shorts. So what are other informal situations could you give in which you could use the modal can? Write your answer on a piece of paper. The next modal of permission is could. Could is less formal. So if you're going to compare the degree of formality between the modal can and could is used in less formal situations as reflected in the sentences below. Could I have some more juice? Could I bring a friend to the party? May is the most formal modal verb used to ask or give permission. Here are some examples. May I use a calculator on the test? May I have another piece of cake, please? Always remember that may is the politest among the three, and it is used in formal situations, such as when you are about to borrow something from a friend or when you are talking to your teacher and whatnot. Modals of obligation. Obligation is a sense of duty demanded by conscience, custom, or gratitude. Examples of modals of obligation are must and have to. Here are the modals of obligation. We have the modal have to. Strong obligation, possibly from outside. For example, children have to go to school. So the modal have to is used if the obligation came from an outside speaker, which means it is not the speaker himself who is setting the obligation. On the other hand, the modal of obligation must is a strong obligation that is possibly based on the speaker's opinion. For example, I must study today. Let's learn more on modals of obligation by taking a look at these two sentences. 1. My doctor said that I have to stop smoking or I'll risk serious problems. Number 2. I must stop smoking. In sentence 1, since the obligation came from someone else, we have to use the modal have to. On the other hand, in sentence 2, since the obligation came from the speaker himself, then we have used the modal must. Modals of prohibition. Prohibition is an act of restraining or stopping an action by an authority. Modals used here are the same in modals of permission or obligation, but with the word not. Here are the examples of sentences using the modals of prohibition. Doctors must not or mustn't make mistakes. She couldn't or she could not play such a rough game of politics. You cannot or can't smoke in any public place. You may not eat in the classroom during break time. So as you can see, modals used here are the same in modals of permission or obligation, but it is accompanied with the word not. Let's test if you have really understood the lesson by doing this activity. Bring out your pen and paper and underline the modals in the following sentences and identify its type. Are you ready? Number 1. Parents must listen not only to what the children are saying, but also to what they are not saying. So what is the modal in the sentence? Write it on your paper. After writing, you also need to identify its type. Number 2. Children may join activities outside the school premises provided their parents know about it. So what is the modal in sentence 2? After identifying the modal, you also need to identify its type. Number 3. Students cannot choose which rules to obey. So what is the modal in sentence 3? Write it now on your paper. At the same time, you have to identify the type of that modal you have identified. Number 4. Some may express their own opinions, but they have to be tactful about it. So what is the modal in this sentence? And what is the type of that modal? Sentence number 5. You can't graduate if you fail one course. So what do you think is the modal in this sentence? And what do you think is its type? Write your answers on your paper. Congratulations for finishing the activity. Now, let us check if your answers are correct. Let me read sentence number 1. Parents must listen not only to what the children are saying, but also to what they are not saying. So what is the modal in the sentence? Very good, we have the modal must. And what is the function of the modal in sentence 1? You've got it right. The modal is stating an obligation. Let us now answer sentence number 2. Children may join activities outside the school premises, provided their parents know about it. So what is the modal in this sentence? Very good. We have the modal may. And what is the type of this modal? Correct. This is a modal of permission. I hope you were able to get the correct answer for sentences 1 and 2. Now let's proceed to sentence 3. Students cannot choose which rules to obey. So what is the model in this sentence? Very good. We have the model cannot. And cannot is a model of prohibition. I hope you've got it right. Let us now answer sentence 4. Some may express their own opinions, but they have to be tactful about it. What is the model in this sentence? We have the modal may. And what type of model is this? Good job! This is a model of permission. We are now down to the last sentence. You can't graduate if you fail one course. What is the model in this sentence? Very good. We have the modal can't. And what is the function of this model? It is used to state prohibition. So can't is a model of prohibition. Do you want more? Here's another activity for you. Get your pen and paper and try your best to answer the activity. Number 1. Blank, I borrowed this book for a week, please. Every examinee, blank, follow the directions. Number 3. He, blank, sneaked out of the lecture room immediately. Miss Saldana, blank, I go out for a minute. You, blank, hand in your project later in my office. Now let us check your answers. Check your paper with full honesty. So what is your answer in sentence 1? Correct. We have the modal may. May I borrow this book for a week, please? And why may and not can? Because may is the politest model. And we use this in situations such as borrowing something from someone. Let's proceed to sentence 2. What is your answer? Correct. We have the modal have to. Every examinee have to follow the directions. How about in sentence 3? What is your answer? We have the modal cannot. He cannot sneak out of the lecture room immediately. Now let's proceed to sentence 4. Miss Saldana, blank, I go out for a minute. What is your answer? The speaker is asking Miss Saldana to go out for a minute. So meaning, the speaker is asking permission. What are the 3 models of permission that you have learned in our lecture? We have the modals can, may, and could. So what are we going to use in this situation? Very good. We have the modal may. We are now down to our last sentence. You blank hand in your project later in my office. So what model are we going to use? The speaker is permitting someone to hand in his project in his office. So all we have to do is to choose between can, could, and may. Correct. The answer is can. You can hand in your project later in my office. Hmm. Is this scene familiar to you? Is this possible to happen, or has this happened before? I kinda missed the scene in my class. Well, not really the scene, but what I truly miss are my students. I hope to see them again in my class after this pandemic. So get your pen and paper and write 3 sentences stating activities that you are allowed to do in the class. 4 sentences that you are obligated to do, and 3 sentences that you are not allowed to do. Do not forget to use modals of permission, obligation, and prohibition. I hope you've learned a lot from today's lesson. To sum up the key points on modals, watch this video clip I've got from YouTube. See you next session and stay safe.
Welcome to another English class. Today we are going to talk about permission, prohibition, obligation, and no obligation. Let's begin with permission. With permission, we are going to use the modal verbs can, may, and could. Can is very common to ask or give permission, but may and could are also possible. For example, can I borrow a pen? You can sit here. Could I open the window? May I ask you a question? When we talk about prohibition, we use can't and mustn't. For example, you can't go into a restaurant without a tie. You can't drive in this country unless you are over 18. You mustn't use your phone in class. Can gives you the idea of something that is against the rules. Mustn't means that the speaker is the one that is setting the rule. When we talk about obligation, we use have to and must. Have to shows that the obligation comes from someone else, but not the speaker, like a rule or a law. We have to be at the airport at least 2 hours before the flight. I have to work on Saturday. Must shows us that the obligation comes from the speaker. I must hand in my thesis by tomorrow. I really must call my parents. Here's an example of the differences between have and must. My doctor said that I have to stop smoking or I'll risk serious problems. That means that I have no choice but to stop smoking. I must stop smoking. It cost me too much money. In this case, this is my decision. To say that something is not an obligation, we can use don't have to. Like you don't have to wear a tie to go to that restaurant. Now let's practice. You come to the meeting, but it will help us if you do. Very good. In this case, we have to use don't have to. I can get a connection on my phone. I borrow yours. Very good. In this case, I have to use can. I stay on for a few hours because I'd rather work late today than over the weekend. Very good. In this case, we could use must. I hope this is clear for you guys. I'll see you later, my friends.